Hello and welcome to Center for Victory's podcast of your best day yet. Here at Center for Victory, we're here to help unlock, reinforce, and enrich relationships through personal and professional development. I'm Eric Guy, Chief Victory Officer here at Center for Victory. With me today is a return guest, the one, the only, Mr. Ryan Walter. Just a little bit of background. You see the hockey stuff. You guys know that big hockey person, even though I didn't play, but absolutely love hockey being in Pittsburgh. Ryan was actually drafted number 2 in the world and became the NHL's, at that time, youngest ever captain for the for the Washington Capitals. We won't hold that against you, Ryan. We went on to be an NHL All-Star, Stanley Cup champion with the Canadiens. I believe you were also the NHL PA vice president, right?
Yes.
NHL Man of the Year while playing with the Canucks. So you've had a lot of things that you've accomplished. Not only that, acting, broadcasting. You've got your 6th book coming out, right?
Yep.
Okay,
You're right, Eric.
we'll talk a lot about that later. But you were also I think you were president of the hockey team, right?
Yeah. The American Hockey League team, the Abbotsford Heat, which played up here just next to Vancouver. Abbotsford's about 40 minutes away. And we were the Calgary Flames affiliate playing in the Vancouver area. And that didn't go very well. That was hard to sell tickets. So I learned a ton about sales during that time.
Yeah, and you spent almost 2 decades, right? About 17, 18 years in the NHL as a player coach, right?
Yeah, you're bang on. It was 15 as a player, 2 as a coach.
Yeah. And so I've heard Brian speak, just to reframe this for the people that are listening and watching. You know, I've had the opportunity through Vistage, Ryan, to meet you, to listen to you speak. And I think you've got, know that you've got a lot of great things to offer in your programs. Really, I think they're simply simple to engage with and actually do and get done. But you put a lot of the way I like it, because I have that sports background, very competitive myself, as you put it in practical application, which I just absolutely love. And today, I think I'd like to talk to our audience about resiliency, because it's been a while since you and I have been on here. And, we've gone through COVID, and I think you have some good ideas for our audience as we come out of COVID. What does it mean to develop resiliency, especially personally? Like, how do we go about doing it? And I don't know if that's too broad of a question, or if you want to break that down for us, Ryan.
Sure.
But really, how do I do that? I mean, we've been through a lot. I mean, you and I, before we got on this call, I mean, I've been talking to a lot of people. A lot of people are just kind of down. They don't know what to do. We've been tossed and turned. And I like your analogy. I saw you somewhere say it. It's like we're in a game of 7. We're in the Stanley Cup Finals, and we're down 3-1. What you going to do, sucker? I mean, you got to play. You got to show up. So I'm going to shut up and listen to you a little bit about how would you tell people that are listening and watching, what's the best way to go about developing that personal resiliency for ourselves?
Yeah. Thank you, Eric. And it is appropriate to talk about resilience and that ability of people to, dictionary.com says it's the way we rebound, or the way that we return. I'm not sure those are strong enough words for me. Like, I don't want to just have a bad, period in hockey and then just sort of return. But I want to really, come from where I land to really move forward. And so I'll share a couple of ideas, but I like your idea of the game 7 overtime. So let me take you into NHL dressing rooms, and I like taking people there, because not many people get a chance to be inside sports, professional sports dressing rooms. Some people call them locker rooms. And you know, one of the things that's interesting in a professional sport room is when you're down 3 games, or let's say you're down 3 games to 1, but let's just say you're in a game and you're down 3 goals to 1. You're going into the third period in hockey, and so you're in between periods, you're in the dressing room. The things that are said in that dressing room are interesting. It's not, and I think this is the key thing to resilience. It's not about making huge change, right? It's not about, oh boy, I've got to be a different person, or, I have to, increase my growth. I mean, those are all good things. But in at this point, it's not about making big change. We don't change our power play breakout. We don't change the way we forecheck. What it's about, it's really harnessing that inner energy. And that's what we used to talk about in the dressing room. Okay, boys, let's work this period to get our best game on the ice. So it's that mindset that you and I were talking about earlier, Eric. It's making sure that we're thinking about the right things and making sure that we're believing the right things. So it's very, I think a lot of people think, oh, you got to change this and you got to change that, and you need to change your structure. You need to change your business model. You need to change, make big changes. And, most of the time, resiliency is more of an inner game than it is an outer change. And
Okay.
let me set up some philosophy for you, Eric, because you and I love doing this. Um, it's really hit me recently that we change business models, we change processes, we change the way that our, we maybe certainly outcome desires, but we grow people. See, that for me is a huge differentiation. We've got a lot of businesses right now that's saying, okay, we got to get into change management. But what we forget to do is people don't want to be changed, right? Like, I can't become Eric and Eric can't become me. We can't change. But you know what you and I can do, Eric, and this is what we love. This is what we love about the industry that we're in, is we can grow to be the best Eric possible and the best Ryan possible. And I think that focus is really what helps us stay resilient. We're here today. We're going through what we call a hard game. Okay. That's what I call COVID,
Okay.
right? It's a darn hard game.
Yeah.
And nobody likes it. But we got to play hard games. And here's what's coming. You know what's coming, Eric? You and I know this. We've lived enough. The next hard game.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's coming. COVID-3 is coming back, or a dip in the economy is coming back. We know that the only thing we can guarantee our kids in life is hard times. So I would say that the idea of increasing our resilience muscle today is the number one skill that we want to focus on. And during this, podcast with Eric, I'll give you some real practical ways to do that.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about inner game, and I don't let me misquote you here, but you talk a lot about believing the right things, right? If so, just our situation that we're in right now, what are you telling people that they need to believe?
So for sure, and the belief system is gigantic, right? I think that the way that we approach life comes through our belief system, and it's influenced by the mindset that we choose. So that mindset that you and I talk a lot about, and our next book breakout will be on these 6 mindsets that Eric has experienced. And we built a 6 mindset model, and that helps us. The belief system impacts the mindset, and the mindset impacts the belief system. And if you want to add a second or third piece to that, is that belief equals behavior, and then mindset equals behavior equals belief, and behavior creates the way the things we we think. So those three areas of our life need to really be in sync. And I think that from a belief system point of view, I'm not asking people to believe this or to believe that. But what we should do probably is just have an indicator, like just do a little bit of inner awareness around, what do I believe? Do I believe in myself? And what does that look like? And how does that play out? Right. And in the world of sport, we call it confidence. So at this point in, with COVID, how's your confidence? How's your inner game confidence? Number two, do I believe in other people? And, we do a lot of work from a mindset point of view. And here's a new one, Eric, that we've really focused on recently. I believe that leaders see things differently. SEE, see things differently. Great leaders, there's not that much difference between very successful leaders and the rest of us. But one differentiator is the way they look at themselves and the way they look at their people. They see things differently. But you know what's cool there? They choose to see them, right? They choose to see the best in people. They choose to see the great work that people are doing and they thank them. They choose to see the upside of their life and the upside of their situation instead of the downside. I've been doing some work recently. I've been doing some research. There's a great couple books out. One is, the essence of the book is this: bad is more powerful than good. And we know that, right? If most of the time we want to focus on negativity, we want to focus on the worst in people, we want to focus on losing. It's the way we're sort of built. Negativity is almost like it's ingrained. And then to shift that into seeing good in people, seeing good in my day, seeing good in COVID, seeing good, like that's a big shift. And you know what the gap is? Resilience.
I'm going back to the hockey example. You said 3-1 at the end of the second period. I remember, here in Pittsburgh, I believe it was the last time we won the cup. We were down. I think we were playing in the finals there, and I was at the game, and it was 5-2 going into the third period. I'm like, oh man, I just kind of want to leave. I mean, we were just getting the crap kicked out of us. But my son and I always we never leave. We're hardcore fans for the Penguins. But here's some of my question as well. And I know the answer to this, but I want you to speak to this. When that third period started, that our leader, Sid Crosby, came on that ice, and I knew something shifted in him. You could tell. As soon as he stepped on the ice, I literally, and my son will back me up on this, I said, you better watch out because something's going down. I don't know if we'll win, but something has changed. Can a leader impact the resiliency of his or her own team?
Yeah, totally. So John Maxwell has a good way to put it, and I'm going to quote him because it's an easy quote. Is that things like resilience can be taught, and Eric, you and I have grown our resilience over the years. Most of it because we've had to. Like you run into a wall and then you go, oh, I wonder learn from that. but Maxwell says that it can be taught, but it needs to also be caught.
Yeah, I've heard him say that.
I like that because I think that resiliency is not easy to read a book and say, okay, do 1, 2, 3, like walk through, first chapter, second. Like it's more of a tool that has to be shaped as life sort of hits you. But the thing that I love about it being caught is that you can see it in other people. And that helps that helps sort of ingrain it in ourselves, doesn't it? And I love that idea of Sid Crosby for sure. Leadership is about saying, okay, boys, okay, ladies, let's go. Right? The odds are against us. But here's what I want people to remember is when the odds are against us, we don't have to beat the odds. Here's what we have to do. We just have to play our best. Right? Most people don't get their best game on the ice. Most people beat themselves, right? Through their belief system, their attitude, their actions, their behaviors. All we have to do is say, no, 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 no. I'm just getting the best Ryan on the ice. I'm just getting the best Eric on the ice. And that's going to be enough. And that resilience of focusing not on outcomes. And I think this is the key thing for me in resilience, Eric. Most people focus on outcomes. For example, let's say my sales are down. Let's just use sales because it's an easy metric. And so I've got to increase my sales. Come on, I've got to get more sales. I've got to make more. I got to get more sales. And how about the world of hockey, the world of sport? I haven't scored in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We haven't won a game in 4 games. We're outcome focused. And here's the key to resilience. We need to get back to being process focused. So we do little things, right? So if you want to score more goals, I can't focus on I haven't scored in 2 weeks. That doesn't help. What I focus on is getting 4 shots every game on net.
Mm-hmm.
Because it takes 11.3 shots on net at the NHL level before I'm going to score a goal. So you focus on the process that gives you the outcome that you desire. And I think most people, when we get fearful or angry or we're in a hard game like COVID, we always focus on the end outcome. Okay, when's COVID going to be over? Or how about this? When's the government going to get everybody vaccinated? Or like there are all these big outcomes where really resilience comes in when we go, no, you know what? This is going to be the best day I ever had today, right here.
That's I'm laughing because it's so profound. I mean, just that shift, because that's what it's all about. I mean, anytime that you look on the news, it's all outcome, 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 out. And that's what we need to do. Just shift to that process. I mean, that is just absolutely great. Great.
Well, and let me just finish a thought there, Eric, because you jumped in. I thought of something. Thank you for doing that. One of the great things for your listeners and your viewers to think about is watch some of the papers or the online sports reports. Watch your favorite player, your favorite team, whatever, and differentiate the sports articles into process and outcome. Most reporters, because they've never played the game or they haven't played at a high level, and I'm not criticizing them, I'm just saying that's typical,
right?
Focused on outcomes. Okay, so why didn't you guys in the third quarter of that football game, why didn't you score any points? An outcome. And if you listen really closely, radio, TV, newspaper, online, the players tend to focus on the process.
Yeah.
They're always saying, well, actually, our quarterback was brilliant. And the way that that play that we ran and the way we ran it was just perfect. And that's a really good indicator. Like, just if people can be aware of that and just listen into conversations within your company, within your family, within your association, within your Vistage, and listen in through a process versus outcome lens and see if you can catch it, be aware of it, and then adjust it. And I like your word. I love the word shift. Shift from outcome focus to process focus and ask process questions. Hey, how could you actually get that done? Versus, why aren't we getting more sales?
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, I know you talked about your book, so before we end here, I'm curious as to when that's coming out, because I think it's called Breakout, right? So can you just give us a little, just kind of a brief overview of what it's about and when it might be coming out? Because I'm sure there are people that want to grab a copy for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. And we're starting to collect a list of people that we're going to send to as soon as it's going. We know exact dates that it's going to come out, and people can just put their name on a contact list at ryanwalter.com. But it is called Breakout, and our goal is to get this out during the summer, early fall at the latest. Excited about the book. It needs to get out now because I think it's the perfect book. It's the perfect focus to energize people during the hard game of COVID. And the reason I say that is I'll give you the 6 chapters. It's very simple. Our first chapter really focuses in on awareness. And that idea of if leaders are not aware, we can't change. If leaders are not aware, we can't. And so you do a lot of work around helping leaders be aware of who they are. And I like this idea of awareness. I'm going to talk about Wayne Gretzky in the book in this chapter because I played against Wayne for 15 seasons. I played with him in 1978 in the World Junior Championships. Wayne Gretzky's great skill was not his shot. It wasn't his passing. It wasn't his skating. It wasn't his aggressiveness. And he was a small little player. Wayne Gretzky's great skill was his game awareness. It was how in hockey, we call it how he saw the ice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was him being aware. And I'm writing a chapter right now, Eric, you'll like this, on what we call peripheral leadership. So in my peripheral right now, I can see, I see my hands about there. Like, you go ahead, Eric. How far does your periphery take you? Somewhere there?
Yep.
Yeah. And so most people, and I do this exercise with people, we're all about there. We see, Gretzky, for whatever reason, he was like, I don't know how he did it, but he could see like behind himself. He'd make a play to a player that was, back there. And you're thinking, well, how did he see that?
Yeah.
Here's our point. When people work hard and when leaders work harder, and we're all working harder these days, our heads go down, and guess what we see? Less. We don't see people doing good work anymore.
That's a good point.
Right? And so we spend time doing our work, yes, but are we leading our team? And so awareness we're going to cover awareness, leadership and awareness in chapter 1. Chapter 2 will be the engine of the book, which is the 6 mindset model, the thinking tendencies model. We'll flush it through. We're excited about that. Chapter 3, we're going to see the 6 mindsets through the lens of performance. So we're going to call it the performance language. Mm-hmm. And I'm convinced that what we talk to ourselves and we talk to each other, right, becomes our behavior.
Yeah.
Chapter 3, I get excited, or chapter 4, I get excited about, because we're going to see the 6 mindsets through the lens of what I call team energy. So how does it impact the team, and how does it impact the energy of our team? Chapter 5 is through the lens of the leadership focus. And this is where we dive into saying and seeing that the leaders see things differently. Leaders see future positive in people more than great leaders see it more than others. And they actually, you've had this. I've had coaches in my life that have believed more in who I was and what I could become than I believed in it.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is it happened, right?
Yep.
Chapter 6, we get thrilled about, because here's how it all sums up. All of those come together, and we're going to talk about game resilience. And I like this. I'm coining a term right now, Eric, that you and I could talk lots about. I love this idea of performance resilience. Mm-hmm. So we're not just going to rebound or come back or hang in there. Like, no, we're not only going to come back, we are going to perform at our highest level. And how do you do that? And what mindset does it take? And what belief system has to be in place? So those are the 6 chapters we get really excited about. And I'm writing like crazy right now because I need to get this book out.
Well, maybe we can help you with that. Maybe you can be on and just walk us through the chapters here up until summer. Would you do that? Maybe?
Totally, buddy.
Okay. All right.
Totally.
Well, I like that idea of that performance resilience. And just to end that story for those of you that are listening that might be around the Pittsburgh area, that game that I was talking about where he stepped on, where we were down 5-2, we ended up winning 8-6. And he lit it up, but it was, you could tell he came out cool. What you just said, he was just focused on the process. He showed up and was just the best Crosby. And boy, did we get the best Crosby that night. But he made that everybody else's game rise to theirs as well. And I think that was your point. But man, this has been great, man. I could talk to you forever, but let's do it again. And if you do have, the book coming out, you've got, you also have a webinar that you'll be doing over the next 5 weeks, I believe.
Yes.
As well. And people can get in touch with you, ryanwalter.com. Again, ryanwalter.com. You can get it through Center for Victory too, because we'll have this posted. But get connected with Ryan, especially if you're a leader that wants to take your game to that next level and really wants to break out. So again, thanks, Ryan. That's all for today. Really appreciate you guys watching, listening. Make sure you leave the video a like, share it, leave a comment. Tell us what else you'd like. Ryan loves to be on. We'd love to have him back and talk about his book. So put that down in the comments as well. If you'd like more information, again, with Ryan, it's ryanwalter.com. For us, it's centerforvictory.com. And just remember, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make this your best day yet. We'll see you next time.